4 meters beneath the silent surface of the Mediterranean Sea lies a haunting ghost. This is not a shipwreck, nor is it a single structure.
Hidden here is an entire urban landscape, complete with private courtyards, two-story houses, and a complex network of ancient stone streets. This is Pavlopetri.
While the famous legends of Atlantis have captured our imaginations for centuries, this city is real. It is the oldest submerged city ever discovered.
Dating back more than 5,000 years, this site represents a thriving Bronze Age center and the absolute pinnacle of early human social organization. How did such a prosperous civilization simply vanish beneath the rising waves? Today, we dive deep to reconstruct a world lost to the passage of time.
To understand Pavlopetri, one must look toward the Laconic Gulf. This stretch of the Greek coast is a rugged sanctuary for modern travelers and explorers alike.
Beneath the water lies a prehistoric blueprint of urban life. Unlike the grand marble ruins of Athens, this city is humble in material but monumental in age.
It sits in shallow water, spanning an area of approximately 30,000 square meters. This location was strategically brilliant for a growing maritime civilization in antiquity.
Positioned on a land bridge, it served as a vital maritime gateway between the Aegean and Ionian seas, connecting the mainland to the island of Elafonisos.
For millennia, shifting sands and Mediterranean tides kept this site a secret. In 1967, Dr. Nicholas Fleming first identified these stone formations as man-made structures. What he found was not a chaotic pile of rubble, but a meticulously planned settlement. This was no mere fishing village, but a highly sophisticated port. Predating the Golden Age of Greece by over 2,000 years, it existed during the Bronze Age, when humanity first learned to master metal and trade.
During this era, humans began to organize into complex societies and trade across vast distances. To appreciate its significance, we must look closer at this era.
Pavlopetri did not simply exist, it flourished. Research suggests the site was occupied as early as 3500 BCE, reaching its architectural and cultural zenith much later. During the Mycenaean period, between 1600 and 1100 BCE, Pavlopetri was already a veteran city when the legendary walls of Troy were still being contested. This city was a masterclass in early urban planning. Archaeologists have mapped at least 15 separate buildings, each partitioned into multiple rooms and separated by paved streets. This level of organization indicates a society with a centralized authority. A government or ruling merchant class likely dictated exactly how the city was intended to grow.
The answer to this growth lies in the water. Pavlopetri was a gateway community, sitting at a critical junction for the textile industry and lucrative maritime trade. Evidence of murex shells suggests a hub for luxury goods. The discovery of numerous pithoi and specialized weaving tools indicates a highly diversified and successful local economy. This was a society of artisans and bureaucrats. They participated in an international network stretching from the palaces of Crete to the distant shores of ancient Egypt. For centuries, the sound of looms and merchants filled the air. Yet, the very geography that made Pavlopetri a commercial titan would eventually become its silent tomb.
The end of Pavlopetri was not a slow decay of time, but a violent reorganization of the earth itself. The sea claimed what it had once nurtured. While many ancient cities were abandoned due to war or plague, Pavlopetri was taken by the very element that gave it life, the powerful, rising Mediterranean Sea. This region sits atop a complex jigsaw of tectonic plates. The Peloponnese is among the most seismically active areas in Europe, prone to dramatic coastal subsidence. Around 1000 BCE, research suggests the ground beneath the city literally gave way. A massive earthquake caused the land to drop by several meters very quickly. Inhabitants would have felt the earth shatter, followed by the terrifying realization that their streets were no longer level with the horizon. The end had arrived. There was no time to salvage heavy storage jars or weaving looms. Residents fled to higher ground, watching as their history was swallowed by the blue. By the time the water settled, the land bridge was gone. Pavlopetri became an island of ruins, eventually slipping entirely beneath the waves as sea levels rose. The city was silenced, preserved in a tomb of sand and salt. It waited 3,000 years for the modern world to remember it once existed. For nearly 3,000 years, Pavlopetri was a phantom, whispered about in local folklore until the mid-20th century. Its rediscovery resulted from pure scientific curiosity. In 1967, Dr. Nicholas Fleming was surveying the coast when he spotted something unnatural. Expecting a few scattered artifacts, he found an entire urban grid. However, the technology of the 1960s had reached its limit. The site was so vast that a full-scale excavation was deemed far too risky.
The following year, a team from Cambridge University spent weeks surveying the site. Using basic gear, they mapped 15 buildings, a street system, and cyst graves.
It was not until 2009 that a collaborative project brought Pavlopetri into the digital age. This time, archaeologists used advanced military-grade technology. Using acoustic and sector scan sonar, the team created a three-dimensional digital reconstruction. For the first time, we were looking at a Bronze Age neighborhood. These digital X-rays revealed that the city was even larger than imagined. Structures buried for millennia were revealed. The ghosts of Pavlopetri finally had a face.
The evidence recovered from Pavlopetri is a revelation of Bronze Age sophistication. This was not a collection of primitive huts, but a highly complex urban machine. Archaeologists have identified at least 15 large, multi-roomed buildings. Some featured 12 separate chambers, internal courtyards, and clear evidence of upper floors and structural support.
These structures were status symbols, suggesting a society with clear social hierarchies. However, the most human evidence lies within the artifacts scattered across the silent seafloor.
Thousands of pottery fragments remain, including delicate drinking cups for the elite and massive storage jars. These vessels once held the city's vital supplies of grain.
Small, heavy stone loom weights suggest Pavlopetri was a major center for the textile industry. They produced high-quality fabrics traded across the vast and ancient Mediterranean. Perhaps the most haunting discovery is located beneath the floors. In Pavlopetri, the living and the dead coexisted in a way that feels alien to us. Archaeologists found dozens of cyst graves containing the remains of children. These small, stone-lined pits were buried directly into the very foundations of the family homes. Despite the precision of modern sonar, Pavlopetri remains a city of whispers. The most persistent question is whether this metropolis inspired the greatest maritime myth, Atlantis.
Every stone and grave serves as a physical witness to a civilization that was highly organized and deeply connected to its traditions, until the earth shuddered.
While Plato wrote his account centuries later, the parallels are striking. A sophisticated coastal civilization and a sudden catastrophe, with an entire city claimed by the waves.
Pavlopetri proves that the myth of a city vanishing in a single day was a terrifying reality for the resilient people of the ancient Bronze Age.
Scientific mysteries endure beyond the myths. Recent surveys have detected anomalies in deeper water, suggesting we have only mapped the city center of a much larger settlement. Why was this site never resettled? Usually, survivors rebuild nearby, yet the area remained desolate for centuries. Perhaps the trauma of the earthquake made the location taboo. There is also the question of the people themselves. We have found their homes, but we have yet to find a central palace or monumental temple.
Was this city ruled by a merchant council rather than a single monarch? Without written records, the social soul of the city remains out of reach.
Encased in anaerobic mud, the true history of Pavlopetri stays protected. It is a silent library of the deep, waiting for the technology to read it. Pavlopetri is more than just a cluster of submerged stones. It is a mirror reflecting our own vulnerability, resting in the dark for 5,000 years. A silent witness to the rise and fall of the Greeks and Romans, it proves the cradle of civilization was also found on the restless sea. The people here were innovators, masters of trade and urban life. They built a world that felt permanent until the earth reminded them of its power. As our own coastal cities face the rising pressures of a changing climate, Pavlopetri serves as a poignant reminder of our grandest achievements at sea. We are not the first to build empires by the water. We are simply the latest to find ourselves at the mercy of the natural elements.
As technology advances, we will undoubtedly uncover more secrets. Perhaps we will find the names of the merchants who once walked these ancient stone streets.
For now, the city remains a hauntingly beautiful monument to human resilience. It is a story written in stone and submerged in ancient salty depths.
It is a story waiting to be told by those brave enough to dive into the deep. the ghosts of the Mediterranean are finally home.